Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dairy Raid, and today we're breaking down the Badgers offense versus Oregon. Apologize for this getting to you guys so late here on YouTube. Didn't get this film until Thursday, had just enough time to do the full game breakdown, which you can find on my Substack. Shameless plug there. And then Friday being Halloween with kids, all busy there. Saturday, took my wife out to a concert for our anniversary. And Sunday is Sunday. So here we are, Monday morning. We're going to get this done. Luckily, we're in a bye week, so we got nothing but time to get some of this back work taken care of. So, the Badgers versus Oregon. Another mixed bag. Some good things, but just the same old crap happening over and over again. And like I've been saying the last couple of weeks, I think they have really dedicated themselves too much to this idea of bringing back old school Wisconsin football by bringing back the below average and beyond mediocre QB play. Nothing but respect to Hunter Simmons. Appreciate the work that he's doing, but how anyone can see him as the answer at quarterback is beyond me. And is really letting me know that there's got to be some meddling involved in the depth chart here, because there's no way that Jeff Grimes and Kenny Guyton want Hunter Simmons to be the starting quarterback. Just saying. All right, but let's get into it. There were a couple good things. We'll see that as we go here, but we're going to start with the first play of the game offensively. Going to go from 3-by-1 to 2-by-2. And then we're just going to run a little snag at the bottom of the screen. Okay. I like that we get the ball out. I think everything kind of as a theme for Hunter Simmons is a half a step behind. And I think what we're really seeing with Hunter Simmons is the difference in speed level in terms of processing that it takes for an FCS quarterback and an FBS quarterback. Yes, there have been successful quarterbacks who go from the FCS level to the FBS level, but that's because they are an FBS quarterback playing at the FCS, not the other way around. And what we have here is an FCS quarterback playing at the FBS against a top 5 caliber program in Oregon, and everything is just too slow. So we're going to see this here, okay? We're running a little snag concept here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and what we're going to get, let's see it here. We'll see it develop. We'll draw it up. Okay, switch release to the curl. And then we're going to sit down with the tight end. Now, what we should be seeing with this is we're going to get the inside release to the corner. Okay, we're going to get the outside release to the check. And then we're going to get a flat from the running back. Like the concept, okay with running it to the short side of the field. We're capped over here as well. I don't like any throws on that side of the field. So I'm okay with this route concept. The problem being, Hunter Simmons needs to work on his accelerators. Okay, and accelerators are indicators in the pass coverage, alignment, whatever you want to see, that will get you through your progression faster. Okay, and with this defensive alignment to a short side of the field, we're not going to get rotation. Okay? Even if we get rotation, we are going to have problems here where we are going to be capped high and we're already capped low. Okay? We end up getting collision here, and let's erase this and we'll let it run. We're capped up high, we're capped inside, okay, and then we're capped here. At this point, we should already be looking to go to the flat. We're going to get collision here if that's the first read. Second read, we're already going to be sagging here. He can see the eyes. He's looking right here. He's just going to turn and sag on it. It's a short throw. He's going to have plenty of time to get there. So with all this information in mind, Like, honestly, we get to hear, I think an FBS quarterback sees that he doesn't have options high or outside or low. He's got to go outside. So he should already be thinking to dump it here. Okay? Are we going to gain any yards? Maybe not, because the corner will be able to come downhill. But we are going to give our running back here a chance to make a play. And what ends up happening is we're late, we're short, and even if he does catch this, which he doesn't, he's going to gain the same amount of yards if he would have thrown it early and the corner made a great play, but you give him zero chance to turn the corner and get upfield. When you're throwing a ball to the short side of the field, it's got to be a quick decision, and we definitely didn't get it on this play, and it resulted in, one, a bad throw, and then two, not enough time to do anything. All right, here we are at the beginning of the next drive. That last drive didn't really lead to anything, and we're going to come out with Gideon Atuka at running back. They're going to be in 12 personnel, 3-by-1, nub look, double tight. And he was the bright spot in this game. I love how Gideon Atuka runs. Normally, I don't like it when a running back is in this high stance. You know, it usually takes a special kind of running back who can be in this stand-up kind of stance. But he's got the quickness out of that stance to get upfield and get going. He shows nice burst, and he shows the pad level. You know, he's thinned up compared to where he was in high school, but he still runs like a bowling ball, and it's been refreshing to watch the kid run. We block this pretty well. You know, we really do. And did a nice job here. Let's look at the end zone angle here. Look at the box. I think we get a nice climb to the second level here by Raleigh Mullman. They reduce the front. We adjust. Okay, we pick everybody up, and then Gideon puts his pads down, takes contact, and falls forward for an extra couple yards. That's really nice to see. And we're going to run through a couple plays in this sequence here. And so we're going to go 2nd and 2 now, same drive. And real quick, before we get into this play, I know people are going to be saying, so why wasn't Gideon Atuka playing to begin with? Well, let's go back to when Gideon came on campus. Okay, he was the one out of that trio of running backs who came in early, who was in for the spring, and he got valuable reps. But I think even Gideon would admit that he was maybe a little bit out of shape, or he wasn't in Big Ten shape yet. And he was behind veteran running backs to begin with, so his reps were, even though he was there, his reps were limited in the spring. Then, when the other guys come in, when Dupree and Jones come in the fall, he didn't separate himself. Let's be honest. He's a very good runner. He is. Dylan Jones is a better pass blocker. He's faster. Darian Dupree is a better pass catcher. He's a better pass blocker. He's faster. So Gideon fell to where he would probably naturally be in the pecking order. But in this game, they just fed him for what he was good at. And it worked. He is a downhill, one cut and go running back. And that is good in situations. But it can be, especially when you have an offense that is having problems making plays, having a one-dimensional player can limit the playmaking ability of the offense. I love it that he took his opportunity and ran with it. I hope this is going to lead to more opportunities for him. But there was no secret to why he didn't get playing time early. Anyways, let's get back into it. So we're going to go 2nd and 2, 3-by-1, same personnel group. We're going to go 3-by-1 with a little condensed look. And then we're going to play action off of this. And again, just like the first pass rep that we saw from Hunter Simmons, what is taking so long to make a decision on this? Like, I'm guessing. I could be wrong. But let's clear that. With our routes that we have out here, he's probably going to be first looking for the hole shot. Then he's going to be looking for the out. Okay? Standard route combination that I would expect to see. Progression. So we're going to go 1. He should be peeking. 1. We should already be looking to 2. I don't like this throw. Hunter Simmons throwing off platform to the wide side of the field. It's going to be picked off by the safety. The hole for the hole shot is, you can't fit that in off of play action. Just can't do it. Why don't we throw the out? Okay? Corner's got his eyes inside. So what? We need 2 yards. We need a yard. 2 yards, whatever. Okay? This is a 3-yard gain right here. And do you like your matchup with a tight end running into a corner? It could turn into more. Okay? The reason why I say this is because 10 seconds later, we go here anyways. So, if he's going to go here, he should be going now. So, it should be 1, 2, 3. But he decides to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. And it's, again, the idea of acceleration and just his FCS mind not operating at an FBS level. I don't know what else he's expecting on this, because you can see his eyes. Now, we'll give him some positive things on this. Think his footwork coming out, his hand placement with the play action is great. He's gaining good depth off of the unblocked end on the leak. Okay, fantastic. But what does he not see here? I don't get what he doesn't see. You don't have time to look back and then look back. Okay? We end up catching the ball. We end up gaining some yards. I'm not upset about that. But that's the outcome. That's the minimum outcome we could have had if he threw the ball earlier. Is a short gain or drop pass. But you know what I mean. A chance for a short gain. If you throw the ball when it's intended to be thrown, off of the read of the first route, off of the hole shot, you give your players opportunities to make more plays. You can't expect Lance Mason to turn this, especially when it's thrown behind and low, into anything but that. It's not conservative. It's just mismanaging and misreading the play and going through the progression too slowly or seeing things that aren't there. All right, next up I got for you, for all the people who say that I'm always critical of the I formation stuff, let's run an I formation play that actually works well. And we run a little G lead power. And we do a pretty good job here of getting a push. That is probably the best block that Jackson Aker has made all season. Okay, awesome. Now, I think we have a miscommunication with this down block. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to be leaving that to the fullback, but we'll take it. Okay, we got good push inside. It's a nice pull. I want you to notice the difference later when we see. Well, we're going to see some examples of Joe Brunner pulling. The difference between Cubberly pulling and Brunner. There's a giddy up to his step. He gets moving. Okay, we get some nice down blocks by Davis Heinzen. Okay, part of me really wonders if this offensive line configuration of Malman, Brunner, Heinzen, Cubberly, and Mandel was the week 1 offensive line. And now it's the week 8 offensive line. How things would have been different. And for all the people who criticize Danny O'Neil and then criticize me for having an opinion that Danny O'Neil is a better quarterback, remember the offensive line. It didn't really it hasn't stabilized. But this right here is the best configuration that we have had all year, with the exception of maybe if Jake Renfro could stay healthy, because the O-line is better with Jake Renfro in the middle, whole stop. But if you're just thinking continuity's sake, and they would have made a decision in week 1 that, you know what, Jake, you're going to redshirt this year, or we're going to sit you out and we're going to apply for a medical redshirt. How much better this team could have been if this group had time to grow together. That's something we'll never know. All right, start of the second quarter now in a 2nd and 5 situation, and this is the type of play that we have to be running if Hunter Simmons refuses to get involved in the run game. Whether he's refusing or he's being told not to, there are going to be highways on this game that he could have ran through that he decided not to. So if he's not going to run, we got to be able to do this. And what we have here is come on, got to let it run. Okay, so we've got inside zone, and then we're working the glance slant behind on the RPO. Okay, this action right here, with his eyes here, is this defender has to respect it. He cannot get into the run fit. Okay, he is going to be the force player on the backside. With how Oregon fits this linebacker here would be the C-gap player right here. And he overflows, which allows the cutback. Fantastic. That's how it's designed. But it is this RPO action that holds this flat defender, which gives Gideon Atuka the opportunity to bounce it outside and gain more yards. Okay? If he's here and able to fit it correctly, he's not going to tackle this for a loss, but he's going to hit him probably 3-4 yards earlier, and you give a player like Gideon Atuka less momentum, he's going to gain even less yards. So it's something that's really necessary, that if you're going to have a quarterback who's not going to get involved in the run game, that you have to find ways to involve him in the run game, because that is modern balanced football. Okay, a quarterback, his job is not to just throw the football. I want to make that very clear. The quarterback's job is to facilitate the offense and to bring balance to the offense. Yes, you can have a dominant player here, but eventually defenses get smart and they go for broke. We saw that in years past with Jonathan Taylor and with Melvin Gordon. Teams eventually, and usually it was the teams like Ohio State, where they could load the box and they could match up on the outside, and then we didn't have anybody to bring balance. Those weren't good offenses back then. We had good players. So you got to have a quarterback to bring balance. He can either be like a Jack Cohn or Scott Tolzien, who has enough threat in the passing game to bring balance, or a guy like Russell Wilson who could do a little bit of everything. It's somebody like that Graham Mertz should have been, or should have been used to be more. But anyways, let's appreciate the blocking on this, because I think they did pretty good. Okay, we get a nice little pop up to the double team. Doesn't take much here. Okay, Cubberley's got him well engaged. The gap is right here. Okay, all Mandel needs to do is give him a little hip bump, little arm in there, and then he's climbing to the second level. He would initially be looking here, but as the play develops, he goes here. And it's not much, but he's caught in no man's land, and his feet end up still going the right way. I appreciate that. Okay, Heinzen kind of has the right idea, but he's again caught in where do I go? How his footwork should carry him. He should be looking here. He should be moving here with his eyes here. And then this double team here should be working here with eyes here. And honestly, with him going this wide, he probably should just go upfield right away. But regardless, we get a nice backside seal by Mason, and Atuka already knows. Like, he barely gets in there, and he's already cutting. So, it's a nice job, and it's well executed against a good defense. All right, next up, getting into the end of the first half, and building on what we just talked about with a quarterback who's not bringing balance to the run game. So they're going to go 3-by-1, they're going to motion, and they're going to go split flow. Now, depending on where this read point is, whether it's here or whether it's here, like, why do we not keep this? I mean, look, guys, I want you to look at the defensive backs. They have zero, they're not even paying attention to the quarterback. And if Hunter Simmons keeps this, the split flow follows, and he probably picks up the linebacker. So, Gideon Atuka gets 4 yards. I'm not criticizing either the job that was blocked, how well the blocking was in here, how well he ran. I think he did fine. But this isn't even the most silver platter type give me keep that we saw all day. We've seen much more. It's wide open. Linebacker is not looking at the quarterback. Why? Because he knows he's not going to keep it. Like, do we need more? I don't think so. All right, next up, another passing situation, and I want to see more or talk more about this, just not using your accelerators to get through these plays quicker. So we're going to be in a 3-by-1 nub, and we're going to motion Chris Brooks over, and we're just going to run a curl and a flat. Now, the first thing that I would be paying attention to as the quarterback, as this guy is moving, is how they're rotating. Okay? Now, maybe he thinks we've got man because he's moving with. Fair enough. They call it off. They rotate. He's going to sit in the middle of the field. Okay? He's running to the flat. Who is the flat defender on this particular play? The flat defender is this outside linebacker who misreads it and takes off and tries to catch up. Now, whether he's supposed to be covering this line, the tight end, or not, if he's supposed to be covering the tight end, what Hunter Simmons is doing is throwing to a player who is capped above And then as the ball gets in there, cap below. He also throws it late. So that right there is your first problem. But then second all, like, it's capped. If this is not your first read. Okay? The first read is going to be the flat. Why? Because by the time he comes back to the flat, it's too late. So he's looking out here. What do we not like? What do we not like? What do we not like? Why are we off it already? Chris Brooks is wide ass open. It's because he wants to throw to the tight end. And he's covered. We're lucky that's not picked. We're very lucky that's not picked. Here we go. A couple more here. But I want to show another example of just what more does Hunter Simmons want? Nobody respects that he's going to keep it. Now, Davis Hines gets blown up. He doesn't need to see it. Okay, Hunter Simmons is not going to see this. Okay, that's what kills this play. But seriously, unless he is being told, do not run the ball. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. This is an unwillingness to run the ball. And if you're going to run an offense like this, you have to have the willingness to run the ball. All right, a couple more for you. I want to put in a positive play in the passing game, and I want to show how a potential disaster play accidentally becomes a good play. All right, so what we're going to get here, we're going to get a situation where we're going to run a switch release with a slot fade, or sorry, smash concept in the bottom of the screen, and a switch release in the top. Okay. And we end up, Oregon ends up running a corner and a linebacker blitz through the same gap. I love this kind of play design because you're not putting two blockers in the same gap. So Gideon picks up the first guy. There's nobody there for the second guy. Great defensive play calling. Okay. Now, I don't think, first thing, I don't think he needed to get to the fourth receiver in his progression. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't want him to go here because I think 5 jumps this and it's a pick 6. Second route is capped, so he's on to his third read, which he should be. Ball's got to be out now. There is space behind if he gets the ball out on time. It's late. Okay. I like that he stays in the pocket. I like that he takes the hit. Okay. But because he gets hit, he underthrows it, and we're able to back shoulder this. So that's how we accidentally get the best offensive play of the day. And, we're just going to keep this rolling. We're going to see, not a fan of the pocket movement. He's shuffling 3 different ways, but it is what it is. Offensive line needs to be a little more active. And it's getting late in the game. But, yep, hey, nice big play. Good job. Nice to see that we still have effort late in the game by a young guy. So now we're going to get into the last couple play sequences, or the last couple plays where we end up scoring. Okay, first thing, going to come out in I formation. Okay, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs. Oregon is 10 in the box. Why? Because they know we're not going to throw out of this. And our quarterback gets nervous in the service and can't complete the QB center exchange. This is all in the QB. You can see his hands pulling away too early because he's so worried about getting back, because he had issues with getting back earlier in the game. We didn't have it on this breakdown, but he definitely had issues getting back at times. Even if he gets this cleanly, honestly, I think they lose less yards because he falls on it than what would have happened if he would have gotten away the ball with the ball cleanly. Because, Wisconsin has at best 9 blockers. Oregon has 10 in the box. Somebody's going to be unblocked. And getting to Tuca is not Jonathan Taylor. Getting to Tuca is not any of those big running backs we had in the past. So he can't make a play out of nothing. All right, next play, we're going to spread things out a little bit. Okay, we're still in 2 tight ends. But just the fact that we spread out a little bit, okay, you're giving the offense some options. Okay, and what do? They take advantage of how Oregon plays their corners in these situations. Okay, now Oregon has 9 in the box. These corners are on islands. Okay, so Chris Brooks, very smartly, he is not running a route here. He is taking off, and he is running right at the feet of the linebacker. Why? Because his corner isn't looking. So now the linebacker has to go around the corner, and we're able to dump it in the flat to our tight end. You can't do this under center because the action of getting from under center to get it out in the flat takes way longer. Like I've said, and I'll continue to say, being under center does not make anything go faster. Doesn't make anything go faster, except maybe a QB sneak. I'll give you that. You can't run like that under center. So, just taking advantage of formational adjustments is what led to this play right here. Oregon still has advantages in the box, so we need to do something to take advantage that we have an advantage outside if we run it correctly, which we do. Boom, dink it out there, and there we go for his 7th pass completion of the game late in the 4th quarter. All right, and after that, we're going to go right into it. This is the first play of the next drive. We're 2 minutes left. And I think this just sums it all up to how I feel about this. Because maybe every criticism I made of Hunter Simmons earlier in this game, you can justify it somehow. Oh, well, he should have been, they should have been, yada, yada, yada. This is 100% on the QB. Going to motion to 3-by-1. Okay, and we're going to run a little slot, switch release, follow return. Okay, so however you slice this, this is a terrible throw. Okay, protection is there. He has plenty of time. He has a receiver wide ass open. He sees it. He overthrows it because he throws it a million miles behind. Or he's throwing it to our second player in this route concept, Tretch, who takes collision and he throws the ball behind him. Like, even if this ball keeps going to where we want to, it's going to be behind Tretch. So, I mean, we'll go to the end zone angle on this, where it's like he has 2 terrible throws in one. Like, if he's throwing it to the first read, like he should, let's let it develop. Okay, he overthrows it, throws it behind, to the point where I don't think Vinny even thinks he's getting the ball. Okay, and then if we're trying to throw it into the second window here to Tretch, it's going to be too low. Besides, there is a defender right there. Like, if he's passing up Vinny Anthony. Let's say he is. Let's say he is. I don't think he is, but let's say he is. What at that point right there makes you decide that throwing the ball to Tretch would be a good idea? He had a DB in his pocket because he got collided with on the line as he was coming out of his route. And then he has a dropping defender in between him and the quarterback. There's nothing positive out of throwing the ball back there. So that leads me to believe this is just a god-awful, terrible throw. He threw it a million miles an hour out in front of our receiver and completely put the dagger into any potential chance at a comeback late in the game. It wasn't going to happen, but it's definitely not going to happen now. So that's it. Wisconsin versus Oregon. There were some good things. Getting Atuka. I think the offensive line, this is one of the better blocked games they had all year. It's not great. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's better. And against a team like Oregon, it's better. But I want to make this very clear. To win the Big Ten now, to get to the Big Ten championship game, let's just get to the Big Ten championship game. You got to remember, people, we haven't won a Big Ten championship game since 2012. Okay, so it's not like we've been going and we've been winning the thing, and then all of a sudden it stopped. Okay, we haven't gone to the Big Ten championship game in 6 years. We haven't won one in 13. But now the path to even get to the Big Ten championship game goes through teams like Oregon. We're not going to be spotted 6 wins anymore in the schedule. So our play has got to get better all around to where back in the past, we didn't have to beat the Oregon on our schedule. The Oregon on our schedule back in the day was a top 5 Penn State or Ohio State. We didn't have to beat them. Why? Because we're going to play 3-win Illinois, 3-win Purdue, 3-win Indiana, etc. And we could put together a 6-2 Big Ten schedule. Can't do that anymore. Maybe next year. Maybe next year we can put together a 6-2 Big Ten schedule. We're going to have to, regardless of who the coach is, if we want to show any chance that we are going to be able to compete in the new Big Ten. Otherwise, we should just join the Pac-12. All right. That's enough of me rambling. Thank you, as always, for watching. And I just got the notification as we were sitting here, might have even heard it, that the All-22 for the defense is in. So I'll be working on that later. Hopefully be able to get it to you guys at some point towards the end of the week. But thank you for watching this one, and we'll see you next time.